Cool. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ciro. All right, cool. Well, Beth, I think, yeah, go for it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I may have missed this in the presentation, which was really nice. Thank you. But I wanted to know if you are mainly getting your data from GBIF, or were you also mobilizing existing data sets? And the reason I'm asking is because I imagine in Kenya, there must be a lot of data in different reports, even unpublished reports and documents. So yeah, that was my question, where you're getting the data from. Thank you.
Yes, we are mobilizing the data, some of it, and maybe you missed, I showed that for biodiversity data, we already have over 27,000 records on GBIF, but also we have also gone out sometimes to collect new data, but that of course was not a well-funded thing, so much of our data is from existing sources.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I was wondering, because we found in Rwanda that there's a lot of data when you really start digging around. Even we monitored like Facebook, Rwanda Birding Club and things like that. And we were able to find data on different taxon groups that way to mobilize into our system, in large part because right now so much of the data are not digitized and not in any kind of format. So you talked about a community practice too, and yeah, we found that was so important to get people to be going out and scouting for data sets and getting them into the right format. So thank you again for that talk. It's really interesting.
Okay.
Thanks, Beth. Thanks very much. Jean-Paul, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ciro and Peter, for the nice presentation. And it looks that you have done a great work so far. I was just curious to know, or if you can share with us your experience about your data use, the rate of data use in Kenya, from your sourcing your data from your portal, and then the rate of how they use it for decision making. Thank you.
Okay, for now, I would honestly say that the portal is still very in its infancy, and we really don't have statistics that we would say, oh, this portal is really being used. But obviously, with the sharing data with other repositories, there are already usages from elsewhere. But we really hope that with time, as the visualization tools and analytical tools become more robust and simple, that will encourage users to actually start using the portal. So at the moment, I would say that there is, it's not very nice yet. Yeah, so I really don't have data to share with you at this point in time.
All right. Thanks, Ciro. Thanks, Jean-Paul. All right, Laban, I think it's you have a hand up, and then we'll move over to Tim. Thanks.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank the team for the good presentations. So I have a few comments or questions. One, are we going to have a link are we going to have the occurrences linked to the layers in the JNode? That is my first comment. And then the search the search function in the portal for occurrences. Is it specific to when it picks data from GBIF? Is it picking only data on Tana system? Thank you.
Can I give that to Peter to answer?
Yes, I can answer that. So the first thing is currently, there's no link between the occurrences to the GeoNode. That is one of the main things that we want to make it live, so that we can have a link between GeoNode and the occurrences within the in GBIF. The second one is the search functionality. That is only picking data within Tana River Basin. The boundary is not yet there, but the data that is picked from GBIF has been customized only to show within the basin. Have I answered your question? Good.
Great. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Laban. Tim.
Thank you. Just echoing the good comments from Astrid about how nice it is to see the work you're doing, and nice to see all familiar tools as well. I'm a developer and nerd, so it's nice to see the same kind of application tools that we and other projects are using. It creates a sense of familiarity and feeling that we sort of in a communal, in a community, all kind of looking at the problem in the same way. I was curious about the occurrences plugin. What customizations you made over the original GBIF occurrences plugin? If you could just comment on that.
Yeah, so with the occurrence plugin, the first thing we did was to limit the region where the data is sourced. And then we also added, initially we wanted to see the current data that was collected within that region. And later on, we decided to have multiple occurrences, not only from, let's say, NMK who had made the collection, but all people who had made collections, but within the Tana River Basin. Then we thought we would want to publish it and it to be accepted in the GitHub repository. But we were told we have to make some few corrections for it to be allowed, or to integrate it with the main occurrence plugin, which is already there. But we left it at ease right now. Only within, you can download it within the portal, but you can't have it you can't search it as a plugin in QGIS.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks there, Peter, and thanks, Tim, for your question. I don't see any other hands up except for Tim's, which I think was from the previous question. I'd like to ask a question, and I can see a lot of hard work's gone into this project already, and thanks for really taking us through that journey. It's so great to see how much progress you've made in this project. I'd be curious to know what for you and your group would be the next big important steps to take this platform closer to where it needs to be. And as a part of that, what do you see as the biggest challenges that are sort of looming during the next phase of the project?
Okay, I will go first. That's a big question.
I know.
Of course, I mean, just looking at, I mean, I've been following the series and looking at, for example, what you people at FRC have. It's already quite robust, quite detailed, but simple. So on our part, we would also like something that is robust, simple, but detailed enough. And also the idea, for example, you have had QGIS, a lot of the analysis, you have to go to QGIS, you have to go to GeoNode. Many of the users that we are likely to be using our data and information will probably not be versed in these kind of tools. So having already some of the data analyzed and processed, and sort of having just a simple menu where they can overlay and look at already analyzed data would be important. And also bringing in more data types. For example, we are working with partners. For example, the water, people working in water. Now, our people in Kenya working with water are not already used to sharing water data. And the reason is that traditionally, the data that they have is monetized. That means that if you want to access that data, you have to request for it, and there is also a charge. Now, here is a project trying to do something completely different, and we need that data shared openly so that it can also integrate. So bringing in this data is important. Now, in terms of a phase, at the moment, of course, our funding is coming to an end. There will be things that we can do on our own without extra funding, but there will be things that will also need funding, which we would be looking forward to maybe doing more proposals, looking for funding. But also now we are also joining the community of freshwater biodiversity people in Africa, and we are also hoping that through this forum, this will also help us to grow in terms of looking for resources, in terms of good practice, in terms of borrowing what works elsewhere and has been demonstrated to work, and instead of building things from scratch. So we could simply adapt and reuse. So I will leave it there, but my colleagues could add to that.
Thank you, Dr. Siro. And probably also in the works is we could do a bit of a short documentary if circumstances will allow, so that we broadcast or advertise the project more. So that goes in line with what Jean-Paul had asked in terms of the user metrics. So as it is, not many people are aware about the portal. So once we do that, maybe in the coming phase, we could roll out a documentary and have it run in one of the major media stations in Kenya. That would actually bring out the project out there and would improve on the number of people who will be using the portal.
Great, thanks, thanks Siro, and thanks Kevin. And yeah, that's a really interesting point you just raised there, and one we haven't really discussed yet in the series, as far as I can remember, is the marketing of these platforms and increasing the community, the user community, or the audience beyond those partners who are involved from the beginning. So I think that's an interesting topic you've raised there, and one for, I think, that every platform can think about the different ways of growing the community, the data community, and also just the awareness of the platform. So I think that's a pretty good place to leave it. We've covered a lot this morning. Helen does send her apologies. Her backup generator and internet eventually ran out of steam, so she'll be back in 2 weeks' time. But it looks like we've got time for one more question from Astrid.
No, it's not a question, it's rather a suggestion. So we will be having our seminar on 23rd of June, and we will introduce not only AquaHub, but also the Freshwater Information Platform. And I would also maybe suggest that whenever we close up this series, we could write a blog post on the Freshwater blog, introducing all these portals and all this work that is going on in Africa, so as to disseminate what is going on in Africa, and maybe attract users to the different portals. This would be my suggestion or offer even.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea, Astrid, and thanks. I mean, that's one way to grow the global community, and yeah, I think we'll definitely take you up on that. So yeah, great suggestion, and looking forward to the AquaHub session coming up soon. That's going to be fantastic. So yeah, Ciro, if you could maybe you could share that recording with us, but I'll send you an email after this, and then we'll be able to share that with the rest of the group, and particularly with Helen, who I'm sure will be wanting to get herself caught up on the discussions. So fantastic. Thanks everyone for another great session, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Great job. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Bye.
So, Jeremy, I see everyone has dropped off. Yeah, now you gave me a role that I wasn't expecting.